Welcome to Express News. We give you top 100 news of the day. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid foundation stone, inaugurated and launched various projects worth over 83,300 crore rupees in Jharkhand's Hazaribagh on Wednesday. Addressing a public gathering in Jharkhand's Hazaribagh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized that the tribal community will progress when the youth will get good education, and for that the central government is working hard. Later in the day, PM Modi held Parivartan Mahasabha rally in Hazaribagh. PM Modi slammed the state government and said the number of Bangladeshi infiltrators are increasing in the state and the state government is not taking any action. India's President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi on the occasion of his birth anniversary in Delhi on Wednesday. Speaker of the lower house in Indian Parliament, Om Birla, and leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi also paid tributes to the father of the nation in New Delhi. India's President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to former Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri on his birth anniversary in New Delhi on Wednesday. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday participated in a cleanliness drive with students in the national capital to mark the 10th anniversary of Swachh Bharat campaign. During the cleanliness drive, Prime Minister Modi also interacted with the students and shared a glimpse of it on micro-blogging platform X. India's cleanliness drive Swachh Bharat Mission has completed 10 years in 2024. Initiated in 2014 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the mission is one of the most significant mass movements for cleanliness. PM Modi launched and laid the foundation stone for several projects related to sanitation and cleanliness, worth over rupees 9,600 crore in New Delhi on Wednesday. India's Health Minister and BJP President JP Nadda, along with other party leaders, participated in a cleanliness drive in the national capital to mark the 10 years of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. The Director General of World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, commended the efforts of Indian government on the 10th anniversary of the Swachh Bharat Mission. In a tragic incident in western state of Maharashtra's Pune city, 3 people, including 2 pilots and an engineer, died after a helicopter crashed. Delhi police busted an international drug syndicate and seized more than 560 kilograms of cocaine on Wednesday. 4 people were arrested in relation to the matter. India's Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi flagged off the Navika Sagar Parikrama 2nd expedition from Goa. Lieutenant Commanders Dilna K. and Rupa A. began a historic 8-month voyage to circumnavigate the globe on board Indian naval sailing vessel Tarini. 27 cyber criminals were arrested by the Cyber Security Bureau of Telangana in a 20-day operation conducted in northwestern state of Rajasthan. In Telangana's Hyderabad, a ban has been imposed on the use of high-decibel DJ sound systems and firecrackers during religious processions in the city to tackle noise pollution. The northeastern state of Assam's Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve reopened on Tuesday for the tourism season after being closed during the monsoon. To celebrate 75 years of India-Ireland diplomatic ties, the Ireland Embassy has collaborated with Irish and Indian artists to create a unique goddess Durga idol, incorporating Irish goddess Danu for Kolkata's Durga Puja festivities. In an attempt to empower specially abled people, 1,100 physically impaired youth trained for self-employment in northwestern state of Rajasthan. India's Finance Ministry reported a 6.7% increase in GST collections for September 2024, reaching rupees 1.73 lakh crore, up from rupees 1.62 lakh crore in September last year. Union Minister Piyush Goyal highlighted India's strong economic growth, thriving manufacturing sector and improved business environment at the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum CEO Roundtable on Wednesday. India's influence in the MSCI Emerging Markets Index has surged to 19.9%, closing the gap with China, which has seen its share drop to 24.42% from 40% in 2020. Dock workers along the US East Coast and Gulf Coast went on strike for the first time in nearly 5 decades, bringing half of the nation's ocean shipping to a standstill following failed wage negotiations for a new labor agreement. The strike impacting the nation's ocean shipping is expected to cost the economy billions of dollars a day, threaten jobs and potentially stoke inflation. Most Asian stock markets sank on Wednesday, catching up with the sell-off on Wall Street after Iran's ballistic missile strike on Israel provoked fears of a wider regional conflict. The dollar index, which tracks the US currency versus the euro and 5 other major rivals, was steady at 101.27. Oil prices jumped by over $1 on Wednesday, potentially disrupting crude output from the region following Iran's biggest ever military blow against Israel. Brent futures leapt $1 to 74.56 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude spiked $1.07 to 70.9 on Wednesday. Gold prices remained steady on Wednesday as market participants awaited upcoming US data for insights into potential interest rate cuts later this year. Iran launched hundreds of missiles towards Israel late on Tuesday night. It is the second attack by Iran this year after it fired hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel in April. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Iran made a big mistake and will pay for it. Israel's military signaled it would retaliate, though it didn't provide details of how or when it would respond. The Pentagon said that Israel intercepted the majority of the missiles and that there was minimal damage on the ground. US President Joe Biden reaffirmed his country's support for Israel and described the barrage as defeated and ineffective. US Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris called Iran as a dangerous and destabilizing force in the Middle East. India's External Affairs Ministry expressed deep concern at the escalating security situation in West Asia and urged for diplomacy and dialogue. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that Britain stands with Israel after Iran launched a wave of missiles in retaliation for Israel's incursion into Lebanon. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei made his first public appearance since strikes on Israel, condemning the US and European countries as the root cause of the conflict without mentioning Iran's role in firing missiles. Chief of Iran's armed forces, Major General Mohammad Bagheri, has threatened to repeat Tehran's attack against Israel and target its infrastructure in case of a retaliation. United Nations Security Council called an emergency meeting on West Asia tensions on Wednesday, while the European Union called for an immediate ceasefire. In view of the prevailing situation in West Asia, Indian Embassy in Tel Aviv advised Indian nationals in Israel to stay vigilant and adhere to safety protocols as advised by local authorities. Explosions were heard and smoke could be seen rising from buildings near the airport in the Lebanese capital of Beirut in early hours of Wednesday as the Israeli military struck Hezbollah targets. US vice presidential candidates Tim Walz and J.D. Vance debated each other in New York, with the pair clashing on the topics of West Asia conflict, immigration, taxes, climate change, and energy. US Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump held a campaign rally in Wisconsin on Tuesday and promised to bring peace in the world if he wins November 5th presidential election. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar met US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington, D.C. Both leaders discussed ways to work together to address regional and global challenges. During the meeting, Blinken reaffirmed that the warmth and ambition in India-US relationship are at an unprecedented level. Claudia Sheinbaum made history, being sworn in as Mexico's first woman president. Sheinbaum was inaugurated at a ceremony in Mexico's Congress for a 6-year term lasting until 2030. Judiciary workers took to the streets to protest the judiciary reform recently approved by the Mexican Congress on Sheinbaum's inauguration. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer will travel to Brussels on Wednesday to hold talks with European Union leaders about putting the Brexit years behind us and bolstering ties with the UK. Russia has claimed control of 2 more settlements in Ukraine's Kharkiv and Donetsk regions, while Ukraine has reported engaging in over 70 battles with the Russian military on the front lines. We are heading for a short break. Stay tuned.
This week on Defense Dynamics, we will be talking about the most deadly conventional bomb ever made. The bombs that Israel used to eliminate Hezbollah leadership in Lebanon. They are the JDAMs and are quite popularly known as the bunker buster bomb. We will take you into the future of Indian Air Force as it celebrates its 92nd anniversary on this 8th of October. We will also talk about India's VAP 8x8 armored personnel carrier for Morocco Army and much more. Watch all this on Defense Dynamics this Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back to our show. Let's continue with Express News. Russian troops have reached the center of Vuhledar, a bastion on strategic high ground in eastern Ukraine late Tuesday. Smoke was seen rising over the ruins of the small mining town. Uganda has formed a state-owned mining company to manage the government's equity interests in mining operations. The move is part of broader efforts to expand Uganda's share of the value from its mineral wealth. 36 people, including 23 active and 2 retired police officers, are arrested in an operation to dismantle a criminal network that involved 34 raids in the Guatemalan capital and other cities. The death toll from powerful storm Helene, which battered the southeastern United States, climbed to at least 155. Hundreds of people have been reported missing as rescue workers search for survivors across North Carolina. Helene made landfall in Florida on Thursday as a powerful Category 4 storm. US President Joe Biden said the devastation left behind by Helene is the worst ever, and the process of rebuilding the hard-hit area will take years and likely cost billions of dollars. In Taiwan, schools, offices and financial markets were closed ahead of the arrival of weakening Typhoon Kraken on Wednesday. As many as 241 people have lost their lives, while 29 others are still missing in the recent rain-induced floods and landslides in neighboring Nepal. Heavy discharge of water through rivers from Nepal has damaged embankments, leading to catastrophic floods in India's eastern state Bihar. Due to overflow of rivers like Gandak, Kosi, Bagmati and Mahananda, over 1 million people across 16 districts have been affected. State and national disaster response forces are engaged in relief operations. Illuminations and festively decorated trees aim to spread the spirit of Christmas in Venezuela as the holiday season officially began. Local residents were seen posing for photographs as they enjoyed the light displays, though some noted the unusually early start to the festivities. Mu Deng, the baby pygmy hippo, has millions of fans on social media following her clumsily charming adventures, but she has also become an unlikely entrepreneurial catalyst. In Bangkok, a cake shop has started creating an entire hippo-shaped cakes, drawing in crowds and boosting local business. Easter Island in Chile has become the focal point for astronomy enthusiasts this week as a solar eclipse will dazzle the skies on Wednesday. Eclipse chasers and tourists have arrived on the island known for its iconic Moai statues to witness the breathtaking rare phenomenon. People of the Capital, the online 3D exhibition presents numerous valuable documents and images depicting the struggle by Hanoi people against colonialists. The 3D exhibition takes viewers on a journey through the heroic history of the nation. Visitors can explore images of the ancient citadel of Hanoi. Hong Kong skyline dazzled with a colorful fireworks display as the city celebrated the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. The 23-minute display themed splendid fireworks shining over China attracted more than 300,000 spectators. Frédéric, an ornithologist at the Museum of Natural History in Paris, has famously been capturing crows since 2015 to study their movements and survival. The Festival of the Dead in Cambodia ended on an adrenaline-fueled note with buffalo races. The decorated buffaloes thundered down the streets with their riders clinging on to their broad backs. A heritage tea room and accommodation business in Tasmania's Derwent Valley, Australia, is set to shut its doors. 8 years on, significant insurance fees on top of already rising business costs are forcing the shops to close their doors. The Tourism Council wants state and federal governments to look at solutions. In Australia, there's a push to ensure people who are blind or have low vision to be able to enjoy golf sport. Players head out on the course with a caddy which also acts as a navigator. Australians are trying to make the sport accessible for all. A group of Russian rescuers and volunteers were trying to save 4 killer whales while stranded off the Russia's far east Kamchatka peninsula. The whales got stuck in silted estuary, making it impossible to use equipment to reach them. Piles of garbage dot the seashores of Libya after a major government-operated landfill was closed earlier this year. The Karkar landfill has been causing environmental problems for people living nearby. Kylie Jenner wowed the audience of the Coperni fashion show held at Disneyland Paris, closing show in a black floor-length gown. The Coperni shows officially closed Spring-Summer 2025 Paris Fashion Week as the brand took inspiration from Disney with Mickey Mouse eared shows and logo t-shirts. Louis Vuitton women's wear designer Nicolas showed a lineup of layered looks with short, flouncy skirts and puffy jackets for the Paris Fashion Week. The runway was fashioned out of a mishmash of trunk facades. It had started on September 23rd with catwalk shows from dozens of brands including Dior, Hermes, Chanel and Victoria Beckham. Actor Johnny Depp has compiled his artwork for an immersive and experiential exhibition titled A Bunch of Stuff in New York City. The pieces will give visitors an intimate exploration of Depp's art ranging from his early 20s to the present day. Actors Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Bryce Dallas Howard and Octavia Spencer were among guests attending the Prime Video Presents Trailblazers event. The gathering in London celebrated women both in front and behind the camera from Prime Video and MGM Studios Productions. Three-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis is returning to acting 7 years after he retired. Daniel Day-Lewis' comeback will be with Animani, a film directed by his son. India dominate in World Test Championships rankings released by ICC after 2-0 series sweep against Bangladesh. India defeated South Africa by 28 runs in the Women's T20 World Cup 2024 warm-up match at the ICC Academy in Dubai. Babar Azam resigned as Pakistan's white ball captain on Tuesday, saying he wanted to focus on his playing role in the future matches. Tim Southee stepped down as New Zealand's Test captain on Wednesday, passing the baton to batsman Tom Latham for the India series. Barcelona thrashed Young Boys 5-0 in one-sided affair in the Champions League with double goals from Lewandowski. Manchester City routed Slovan Bratislava 4-0 on Tuesday for the first victory of its Champions League campaign. Karim scored 3 goals as Borussia Dortmund hammered Celtic 7-1 in the Champions League with 5 goals in the opening 42 minutes. Carlos Alcaraz clinched the China Open title for the first time after beating world number 1 Yannick Sinner in a highly competitive final. Coco Gauff advanced to the China Open quarterfinals on Tuesday after Japan's Naomi Osaka retired from the match due to a lower back injury. Aryna Sabalenka advances to the quarterfinals of the China Open after easing past Madison Keys, will face Karolina Muchova in the next round. That's all in Express News today. News and updates will continue. Keep watching DD India.